Hello, everybody, and welcome to our Squirm Generations commentary of Cyberbully.
Yay.
Yes.
Remind me why we're doing this again.
Twibs,
We're
it's
doing
the
it
Well,
for-
four.
I
haven't seen it.
Originally, Regiment was supposed to be to celebrate Pedro's birthday, but unfortunately, we sort of passed that ship.
Teo.
because we're really late as
Teo. That's what belated birthday gifts are for.
Well, to be honest, Jova, even Tall Girl was kinda sorta supposed to be tied to your birthday, Jova. But
Semantics. Anyway, three main reasons. First off, yes, this is Pedro's belated birthday gift. Second off, it's to ring in the New Year's as our first ever movie project of the new decade. And third, because it's the perfect timing to release this on January 8th, which makes this the 4-year anniversary of the original commentary done by me, you, Pedro, and Darkstar.
Which is still out there in the channel right there.
Yep.
You can watch both.
So, Pedro, why don't you introduce the audience to what this ever-so-classic movie is, the sister project to Tall Girl, as some may call it.
Cyberbully is a 2011 made-for-TV movie that aired on ABC Family. Yes, a Disney company aired this. Basically, this was actually made by a studio called Muse Entertainment. And it's actually available on their official YouTube channel for everybody to see for free. The Muse Entertains channel. And yeah, this is a story about. This is actually inspired by a true story, believe it or not. And it's about a girl who was being cyberbullied and committed suicide because of it.
Oh, I'm sure this movie will treat it with the proper respect that it deserves.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
abso-fucking-lutely.
Absolutely, yeah. So yeah, the only actor that I really know from this movie is the main actress Emily Osment, who's Haley Joel Osment's younger sister. She was Anna Montana's best friend on the original show. I don't know what else I think she's done other Disney Channel stuff, but I don't.
Now, allow me to sum up this movie for you youngsters out there. It's a movie that does have a good message behind it. Cannot deny. Anything that's against cyberbullying is a good thing, as cyberbullying is a very real and serious problem. The problem is, like most bad PSAs, the execution and delivery of said message here and there.
Yes.
Here and there, I think you mean all throughout.
Yeah, kind of.
So, shall we begin?
Yes.
All right.
It's
I
moments.
didn't know. Oh, sorry.
It's moments like these in the Fantastic Four Roger
are
Corman
right
movie
track.
that I love, where you can watch
He
with
said
us.
idiots.
Now I know what you're
Alright,
thinking.
So Shiroi, basically, because this movie apparently cannot use Facebook because Facebook is trademarked, they have their own social media platform that they use called Clicksters.
Clicksters, yeah,
Now I
remember
know.
that one.
Now what
But the
you
whole chat window looks like it's MSN Messenger.
now I know
Yeah,
what
that
you're
too.
thinking. Oh, this
That
is
takes
gonna
me back
be
to-
one of those sad Lindsay Lohan-esque sob stories starring Lindsay Lohan. You'd be wrong. This is one of those sad Lindsay Lohan-esque stories starring Emily Osment.
Yes, at the time, Lindsay Lohan kind of, away from acting because of her problems?
Well,
Personal
yeah, obviously, but let's just say this is pretty much one of those Lindsay Lohan-esque sob stories right down to the letter of the law. You know, not...
Boy.
It's not one of the good tongue-in-cheek ones
Oh.
like Mean Girls, it's one of the sappy ones.
Music by James Gelfand or Gelfand? Whatever.
I
They
checked
have-
Emily Osmond's career. Apparently, the only two decent thing that I seem to have found is as Vilna, she was a voice actress for From Up on Poppy Hill, so that's nice. And
Alright.
she was in a couple of episodes of both Family Guy and American Dad.
That's actually not that great, too, because the English of Up on Poppy Hill is terrible.
It is. I didn't know that.
I've heard it's absolute garbage,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Well, to be honest, that doesn't surprise me too much, considering her other major part in her career is Beverly Hills Chihuahua 2 and 3.
Oh dear.
Apparently, she was in Spy Kids 2 and 3.
Oh yeah, she was in Spy Kids, definitely. She was...
Alright,
Eagles.
so,
I'll check later.
So our main character, and these are her two best friends.
I don't care about that.
Oh, listen here.
Yeah.
Do what you did for
Listen
your
here.
11th birthday party. We just got our nails done. And the smell was so bad we all got sick, remember? I'm pretty sure
I mean,
Bryson
duh.
threw up.
Hold on.
Did you hear Kelly's pregnant? What? Wait, how would you know? She moved to Florida.
Oh god.
Oh boy.
Yeah, as I was
Yes.
saying, I didn't know anything about this movie aside from the name, so I thought that this was gonna be some type of quote-unquote horror flick like Unfriended
A
was.
slasher movie.
Oh. Speaking of which, we gotta get a run.
Hold on, guys. Hold on, guys.
My brother wears shoes like that.
There you go. It's the bitchy bully character. Yay!
Great.
It's
I
basically.
mean, she isn't blonde from what I saw, which is a nice change. Thank you.
So what is
Basically,
so what is
cool.
worse? Oh,
No,
sorry, go on.
instead, Shiroi, it's the dumb protagonist who's blonde.
okay,
Oh,
but
great.
based on my viewing of the first movie, this school is full of either three kinds of people. Those who are just there, those who are...
Okay, so if you were on Clicksters, then you could send them a hot meter quiz and find out if he likes you.
Stop, that is so 6th grade.
Great. Oh,
be
we're,
hot.
we're just like in Tall Girl all over again.
Oh.
Stories set in American schools are.
We have only scratched the surface.
But no, what I was saying is, so what's worse, a movie that makes up social media like this one, or stuff that is absurdly dated like the first Iron Man mentioning MySpace?
I'm gonna say stuff having to make up its own stuff. At least when you have dated stuff, you can say, hey, that existed at the time of the making of this movie, so it makes some form of sense. Here it's just, oh, they were too cheap to get the rights to show off that thing in this movie. Granted, both have their caveats and their reasoning, but you know.
At least with that, you can actually have an interesting. Oh yeah, there was this platform called MySpace. It allows for some nice internet history conversation.
Also, okay, one problem I have with this
Oh
movie...
yeah, that's the guy she likes, basically.
Anyway, one problem I have with this movie is how bland it looks. I mean, yeah, I know, it was made for TV, but so was High School Musical, and that looks a lot better than this.
Like, look at how gray this movie is, Jesus
Yeah,
Christ.
there's this weird filter on it.
You see what I mean when I said this is like one of the more sappy Lindsay Lohan-esque ones? It even has the sappy lighting, too.
And I would know because I hung out with them. Yeah, once. Yeah.
As your best friend, I absolutely know how to tell you to live your life.
Of course.
I know, I'm sorry. I know how much
Wonderful
that
friend.
sucks. He's not like
Ah,
Now,
yes.
this movie's so trash, apparently, even actual victims of cyberbullying have talked about
It's
it.
weird because, hold on, let me check actually. Film received a general positive from Common Sense Media, 4 stars out of 5.
Oh, that doesn't...
Yes, 'cause-
Hold on.
Because
Thank you.
Yes?
Trust me, Ted. There's one thing Common Sense Media does not have, is common sense.
Well, okay.
I'm just checking.
Okay. Give them credit, Pedro. They did give Monster Family negative reviews, at least.
Well, good job. They want a cookie, Common Sense Media.
Well, you gotta admit, that's common sense.
Apparently gained 3.4 million views on official release date, but that's pretty much it.
Rules, but still you're trusting me?
Translation, not that good reception that we can't really talk about.
Oh, apparently
There's-
it's on the movie itself seems to be on Netflix in some countries at least. You knew that. But
Which is
not just
useless
that,
because, again, it's on YouTube for everybody to see.
but not just that, the movie was nominated for several awards and Emily Osment won 2. A Prism Award for Best TV Movie Performance, and a Canadian Screen Award for Best Performance by an Actress in a Leading Role in a Dramatic Program or Miniseries. Yes, that is an actual award.
Oh, yeah.
She's using an Xbox laptop, apparently.
Oh yeah, I remember those. Hey Pedro, I remember those Xbox laptops. They were right next to the Nintendo.
Yeah. Don Matrick was sponsoring all of them. It was over the rage.
The lighting in this movie makes it look like somebody's just pointing a camera at the TV and recording the whole thing.
Okay, in terms of Emily Osment winning those...
7 minutes and me already.
In terms of Emily Osment winning those awards, I'm not really too surprised. Like, she's not a bad actress. In fact, she's a pretty good one. Like, that's a talent Disney has.
Not to mention, with a script like this, there's not that much she can do.
Okay. Allow me to tell you the Disney process. Girl actress goes in, hot movie star comes out. Pretty much. How
Well,
they
19
spend the rest of their
oh.
career
Oh,
is
no,
up
no,
to
no.
them, but yeah.
Friend request. I love how the friend request pop-up is like this bigly elaborate thing.
You don't even know him. Whoever it is on the other end.
Too bad the devs have some guitar.
Ah, yes,
If I want a
that's...
guitar, I put on a freaking album.
See what I mean? This really is like... Okay, I might as well write the sappy Lindsay Lohan movie handbook. Like, don't get me wrong, I don't mean to tease the girl, but Lindsay Lohan practically made a genre of these sort of movies around the time.
This movie came out in 2011.
That's important. Notice, Shiroi, how this girl, who's one of the protagonist's best friends, she apparently is bored of her life because her parents apparently are too busy for her or some shit. Keep that in mind for later.
Anyway, as I was saying, the film came out in 2011 and it looks like it was made in 2000.
Yeah.
Yep.
And also, funny enough, ABC Family are now not known as that, they're known as Freeform.
Hey, Lindsay commented
yeah.
on our photo.
Also, I checked.
Oh god,
apparently
oh god, hold on, Teo. Lindsay commented on the photo. Let's see.
Oh no, sir.
What did she comment?
Lardo and Dogface.
Lardo and Dogface.
In caps lock.
Oh no, someone is being mean to me on Clicksters. What should I do? Should I block them?
Even as an insult, is too primitive.
Yeah.
I was about to say though,
But
like,
yeah, they just brush it off.
Sure, why
the
not?
block button is your friend, guys.
Yeah, the
Not just-
Via method is always
Use
recommended.
the block button as liberally as you can.
Okay.
That Shiroi, notice how they completely brushed off that insult as whatever. Keep that in mind for later.
You know, maybe
Okay.
you don't like history, so you accidentally drop your book.
Oh, and by the way, Shiroi,
you.
this is the homosexual boy of the token homosexual boy of the movie.
He looks a bit like Filthy Frank.
Oh, come on, Pedro. Let Shiroi have some of her own fun pointing out the
And this
cliches.
This guy looks like a younger version of someone you'd see on NCIS or something.
No, I was checking instead. Apparently, the director Charles Binamet, apparently he's Canadian, and this was his second to last, almost the last movie. He only did another one called Elephant Song in 2014, and that's it.
You know
Oh
what?
boy, it looks like.
You know what this boy looks like, Lids?
They-
Oh.
Chat room.
Yeah.
Taylor, you on?
You're going to Crash concert next to Sold Out Lucky Bitch. Taylor, are you on? Who's horny right now? Crash. Do people actually talk like this in chat rooms?
Well, okay. I will say this. I find the concept of sending in chat room dick pics weird to begin with, to not go even that. But apparently there are a lot of people who think it's it's a fun activity. So I legitimately don't know what some people on the internet think.
Well, Teo, it's like Cartman taught us.
Might be
If you want-
dark,
well, Teo, it's like Cartman taught us. If you want to make some quality friends, you got to wait for all the dicks first.
What? Is that Clicksters? Can you get an account?
No.
Please.
Make your own account.
Did you notice? Did you notice the brother literally just scratched his balls?
Okay.
Why, director?
Was that actually in the script, or did the boy do that as an out of instinct?
Even if it was, why did the director thought it was a good idea to keep it in instead of saying cut, do it again?
Maybe they didn't.
Oh,
They
sorry.
really had that lower budget.
Maybe Teo adds to the realism or something. I don't know.
Yes, Twips.
This is how Canada is, maybe.
Was the budget like $20?
Apparently.
Let me check.
It looks like it.
Is the movie itself supposed to be set in Canada? Let me check.
I don't know.
No, it's set in
Hold on.
generic.
I think this is that one scene. Listen here.
St. Louis, Missouri.
At least
Okay.
2 girls he's
Listen
hooked
here.
up with in the past month.
If you count just kissing, then I can think of 3 girls.
What?
Hold on.
What? He's popular. Wait, hang on. Don't drop me off first. Why? We always go to the mall on Friday.
Wait
I
for
want
it.
to go home and see if Scott goes online. Okay, you're now officially pathetic.
Come on, I think it's cute. Let her be in love.
It's not love.
Okay, it may be unhealthy, but calling her pathetic, really?
Baby send me a bikini shot is not
Hold on.
love. Well, then what is? Sleeping sleeping with a guy the second time you guys go out and then wondering why he never talks to you again?
This coming from the girl who came right out of the Disney Channel.
Get out. What?
You can't be serious.
Out.
Okay.
Why?
Okay, movie, you lost me. Can you tell me again what happened?
Basically, her friend is mad at her because she wants to go on the internet and see if the boy she likes will be online for the chat room.
Not just that, but she just said, "Oh, and what is?" She made a comment about something that she usually does, which is sleep with guys and then just leave them or something like that.
Okay, Emily Osment. Like you mentioned, she's been in a lot of interesting stuff, including Spy Kids.
And allow me to remind you, Teo, this is our protagonist that we're supposed to care about.
Of course, the highlighting is this chief of a hand.
Look at that.
Says he's 17 and he goes to Ridgeway.
James.
Oh, my cousin goes there.
Whoa, listen to this. Read your poem about hiking Mount Rainier. Was there last summer and felt like the wind was talking to me too. Heard his voice.
Okay, let's go into one of the major problems about this movie.
Early years internet.
This movie is a little out of touch. Now, granted, that's not to say that there aren't some people who type like this, but let's just say this one tries to go with the sanitized version.
Not just that. Again, if you're a person who was there during the early years of the internet, let's say from 2000 till 2010, roughly that particular decade, you kind of know what kind of chaotic primordial state internet was during those years. So something like this, ideally, on a concept level, isn't even too far-fetched. People writing stupid shit for their profiles when social medias were in their early state. But like Joe said, this feels very sanitized.
And let's just say...
Wait, I think I know that actress. Isn't she like the major supporting character from CSI?
I don't know, Teo. I
don't know.
I can at least tell you, Teo, that she's by far the best actress in this movie.
Kelly
Rowland. Hold on. Someone apparently, quote unquote, hacked her profile and wrote in a status.
Girl, someone should spank me. Well, someone has a sixth sense of humor. You gotta change it. You gotta change your password. No one should look at this.
Dirty girls.
Yeah, finally some dirty girls on this site. Good, someone to keep the pervs occupied. AKA Taylor Swift.
Too late.
Jesus.
I'll spank you, slutty girl. I'd rather smack your face. Let's so come.
But we find out later on, the movie kind of gets hacking and just messing around.
Yes, guessing someone's password or is not hacking. Just saying. Also, again, you can block people. Do that.
Admittedly, okay, the major issue is that apparently, now that the status...
Or even better, if your account has been compromised, delete it and start a new one. Go ahead, Joe.
The major issue is that apparently the status now is her social standing. Like, even though she can now delete or block, now people apparently have the wrong idea. Granted, yes, she should probably block people who respond to her in that manner as well, or try and explain it. Though, that's the thing, the idea of just explaining it never really pops up.
Also, I checked the mother actress, Kelly Rowland, is not from CSI, but apparently she was in the movie Hook.
Oh, you were talking about her, yeah.
Apparently she was Peter's mother during that brief flashback when she rants about him when he needs to be a lawyer or an accountant.
Yeah.
A woman with umbrella.
How random. You, who'd want to touch your ugly ass?
You nasty and
I'll just again point out what she could do. Just tell them.
Because as we all know, Shiroi, we should feed the trolls, right?
Or again, it's not like we could just explain that our thing got hacked. Like, sure, maybe some people may not believe her, but you know, the idea of your account getting hacked wasn't exactly out the window at that time, and surely somebody would believe that.
Still so far out that there is some still kind of truth in the fact that back in the day, the worst legitimately thing that could happen is someone using this primitive type of insults.
The last thing you should do when someone posts a hate comment on your profile is to answer it and feed the troll.
block them or something.
Exactly, that's what the block button is.
Again, the Hideki Kamiya method is always best, you know.
Exactly.
Well, that's the thing, though.
I
You
wish
could
Hideki
just...
Kamiya was the protagonist of this movie.
Yeah.
That's the thing, though.
Short
Sometimes
movie
doesn't he...
ever. Burok.
Sometimes... That's the thing, though, Teo. Doesn't he sometimes just block people for asking a question?
Yeah.
Well, not just that. Well, it's similar situation to Alan Moore. People are enjoying the fact that he gets pissed off, so it's an endless cycle.
It also depends on the
That doesn't
question.
sound like a good
Roots.
example, but whatever.
Hold on, listen here.
Eric.
Hold on. Wait for it.
Me and my friend Coop were the ones to change the status on your profile.
And the brother is dead.
Come back here, please.
I can't believe he did that to me.
Taylor.
Seriously, why couldn't he create his own account? I don't get it.
I'm really upset with him too.
Honestly, I don't quite
I'm
think
sorry, I'm gonna have
that's
to
enough.
interrupt you. Listen here.
I'm really upset with you too.
What did I do?
I looked to see if you took down your profile.
Okay, I never said I'd do that.
Well, on your page, you posted a comment and called someone a bitch.
Whoa, now you're spying on me?
Taylor, when you put something online, it's no longer private. Everyone can see it, and you know my rules.
Doesn't
You can't use the
Clickstars have
internet to
privacy
insult or
settings?
call anyone
It depends on the.
But that's no
Lady,
excuse.
just be glad she's not using the internet for something else.
You were saying, Shiroi?
I'm sorry, I won't do it again.
Make sure you
I said,
taking away your laptop.
grounding him probably isn't
Going
enough.
on the internet means responsibility.
No, in fact, this gives him plenty more opportunity to steal her laptop or anything. If anything, the proper punishment should be the opposite. Force him out of the house whenever possible.
Or do what a lot of parents would do and take away his. Well, I don't know if he even had his own laptop, but take away
Also,
his.
what he did was
Personal
a crime.
experience, that didn't stop me back in the day.
Oh, trust me, I know. But the idea is to have a good enough hiding spot.
It's the best capture the flag game.
It's the one-dimensional bully character again. Yay!
We have no other purpose in life other than insult you and be smug about it. Ha 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 ha.
Okay, it's a weird toss-up. Compare this to the bully.
bots.
Okay, for as much as the bully in Tall Girl was pretty much just as one-dimensional, at least she was.
I
No,
will say this,
she was more.
around this time in Tall Girl, I was still having some kind of fun. This is just dreadful.
Yeah, like the bullies were. I hate to say it, they were more creative in this, and don't get me wrong, that does not excuse how lame the insults in that movie were. Though, trust me, Tall Girl is still the worst movie, if only because of the. Wow, the weight of the issues. That and oh.
So there you go, Dwebs. We have yet another movie where there are no characters, just cartoons.
Wonderful.
America, History, and Glory. Yeah, sure.
I wish I was watching some...
Hold on. Shiroi, I want you to listen to this. Listen to this.
Okay.
I don't know why they have to do that. It sucks.
How would you know?
Hold on.
You serious?
You've been called a slut and a whore, really.
I guess you've never been on my page. There's fairy, fruit, homo, too gay to live.
Oh boy.
I mean,
Hold on.
you really are gay. What they're saying about me isn't true.
Ugh.
This is the
Oh, you're a bitch.
And I'm supposed to care that she gets cyberbullied. I mean, cyberbullying...
So Shiroi, on a scale of 1 to 10, Shiroi, on a scale of 1 to 10, how offensive is this movie to homosexuals?
Well, I mean, she's saying that general catty insults between women are somehow worse than a hate crime?
Oh wow, she's surprisingly topical then.
Hold on, haters suck. The girl is. I forgot.
Like the others have said, cyberbullying is a very serious issue, but in this story, I don't feel sorry for anybody.
Again,
the problem is that this movie is treating it with all the naivety and misunderstanding of a 10-year-old.
I think there is someone who I can feel sorry for in this movie. The creator of Clickster. I'm sure whoever did it did not have in mind the fact that it would have spiraled this much out of control.
Oh yeah, I think Clickster was a real website now that I think
No, it
about
wasn't.
Let me check. I recall during our original commentary, we actually checked to see if one particular of these websites was real, and we were surprised to learn that it was real.
Are you saying I have no choice?
Is everybody in this movie a completely soulless asshole?
Also, the mother is in the wrong here because she's telling her to basically remove her social media access instead of, you know, just blocking the people. Like, our protagonist is a bitch, but the mother's kind of pretty much victim blaming here.
So basically, what you're telling is that the homosexual dude is the only dude who's not a complete moron or asshole.
Oh wait, hold on. Hold on. There's also her one friend, not the terrible friend, but you know the one friend who actually is sensible.
Also, the teachers haven't spoken enough to actually do anything that wrong yet.
So okay, so we have two characters and several background characters who are technically not horrible. Well, I guess there's also the boy she has a crush on, maybe. Who knows?
Yeah, why are you encouraging this?
I think it's good for you to see the difference between a guy that is genuinely nice to you and a guy that just wants to hook up with you.
Whoa, wait. You don't like Scott anymore?
Ugh, like that was ever gonna happen.
Why not? 13 messages. It's a lot of messages.
Yeah, but Scott was like this fantasy guy that might like me if I was different, but
sure.
he likes me for who I am.
I'm not gonna translate.
No, I just have to get my computer out and write him fast.
I mean,
I think it.
Well, this was written by a woman, so hopefully she knows what she's doing. Hopefully, maybe.
Tina Booth. What's her? Let me check if she has a resume. Or IMDb.
You are?
Yeah, I heard somebody hacked your profile. It happened to me once.
Hold on.
It sucked really bad.
My brother did it. That's what's even worse.
Oh man, your brother? Really?
Okay, someone accessing your account is not hacking.
Yes.
Tina, do you not know what hacking is?
Yeah, I know what is one. He's typing randomly on your keyboard.
Of course. Also, Shiroi is a master hacker then.
Hey,
oh my god.
Wait, oh my god.
He's still writing to this day.
Wait,
Jesus
oh my
Christ.
god, guys.
No, I'm not going with anyone, and yes,
It's the 90s all over again. My time machine works! I mean, we are pretty much in the 90s where nobody knew what the fudge hacking was.
You're gonna use it to prevent the people from turning away from Christianity.
If I want to put myself in a time capsule, I'll use Dragon Quest 11.
Time capsules are different from time machines.
But remember, Pedro, you played Final Fantasy 13 too. You know how time capsule is.
Oh, yes. Don't you see? You have to change the future to change the past.
I didn't say it this time around. But yeah, I'm surprised this writer still gets work these days. Jesus.
Oh, what's she do?
TV movies still.
Makes sense.
Really.
I guess as far as most people know, this is just one of her bad ones, and maybe she's done a lot of good TV movies.
I don't know.
Thanks.
What car is that? Even the product placement is weird in this movie.
Guess what?
Hold on.
Guess what? Get out of the car! Get out of the car!
Basically, the dad has contacted them. Basically, the parents are divorced.
Oh, great.
Why are you so excited?
Scott Ozick asked me for the spring fling.
That's wonderful, sweetheart.
So can I have my laptop back now?
Okay, fine.
So how much worse did it get in your
problem averted.
Alright, let's see how Clicksters people are saying on Clicksters.
I feel like we were...
What are people saying?
What are you guys doing? Cheyenne made me drive her.
You haven't seen it yet?
Oh boy.
No, what?
Your wall?
No, I
Your
just
wall?
got my computer back. What does
Interesting choice of words.
That's the wall, brother.
That James guy you thought was so nice?
Yeah, James, that random guy who asked friend
He's saying
request.
he slept with you. That you gave him an STD.
What?
Okay.
Oh, snap.
Skanky whore.
You really are a skanky whore. I got with you the clap. Blah blah blah.
No big surprise. She's nasty.
Oh boy.
Can smell clap on. Bet you Big Money has herpes.
Okay, Jover, is there some hidden teen angsty film cliche rulebook somewhere that I don't know of?
Yes, the Lindsay Lohan handbook. Well, the Lindsay
Pedro, good
Lohan,
question.
the Lindsay Lohan sappy movie
sorry,
handbook, anyway.
Yeah.
But at any point in this movie, because there's going to be a lot of receipts here. At any point, does the mother or her go to the police at all? At any point
Well,
whatsoever?
she doesn't go to the police, Shiroi, but she will go to Congress to ask for people to legislate the internet.
Really?
Yes, but there is. But
Does that work?
But I can sum
I
up
mean,
how that. But I can sum up how that will go. But I can sum up how that will go in 2 words.
She's just never met him.
Well,
The Constitution. So it won't work.
What, so it's fake?
this is like going the Superman 4 route.
We'll get to it.
Someone just put up that fake profile.
So yeah, turns out this James guy was just a troll all along.
For all the stuff that I told him.
Okay.
Remember my dad cheating on my mom?
So, apparently Clickster actually is an actual social network site.
I will check if it has an S at the end, because apparently in this movie it's Clicksters. I don't know if there's
Yep.
a difference or not.
Yep, there's even an S at the end. Holy cow.
Well,
I'm guessing it's dead now.
Does it state the year it was made?
Let me see if I can access it.
Mountain High
2007.
That's
Oh,
the most. That's the laziest name for a high school I've ever seen. Mountain High School. I mean, I get.
Feels better than the one in again, like in Scooby-Doo and the Cyber Chase. It's like what, People University.
Did you say what you were saying about me last night?
Taylor, you're not even in the neighborhood of being a slut. And you wrote on your status that you never slept with James.
I don't understand what I did wrong.
I wasn't aware there was
Oh
a
my
name.
god! Even in the fucking bathroom.
I wasn't aware that there was a neighborhood of sluts. What does that even mean?
Basically she means you're nowhere close to being a slut.
Oh my, like seriously, these are literal bots. Forget the cyberbullying. Those chicks are the real bots here.
But don't you see, Teo? Insulting this girl is all I live for. It sustains
Beep,
me.
beep, boop, pop.
They're like sharks. They can smell her out.
No, you know what, Jova? Personal headcanon. Considering this is a Disney product and all, those are failed copy that Baxton tried to create in his experiments. There you go.
So now one of the friends decided that she wants the approval of people she doesn't even like, so she's like, stay away from me, I'm not your friend anymore.
Hey, what's up?
Yeah.
Nothing.
And the boyfriend is also.
Look,
Yeah.
Okay, in addition to her being, in addition to our main character being crap, she also has really crap friends.
Not a big deal.
Well, it kind of is. It's really gross
yeah.
stuff, and look, I haven't slept with anybody or anything, and
I'll see you in history.
Pretentious piano.
There we go.
Yes.
Let's check if we credit the composer. Team music composer, James Gelfand.
I'm not even sure this film has a composer. They just grabbed random
It has
teen
here,
act songs and put
it
them
has
on.
a very specific clip it was. It says a theme music composer. I guess it
Also-
composed like one thing.
Also, technically, Teo, this is not a Disney product. It is true. It is true that aired on ABC Family, but the actual movie itself belongs to Muse Entertainment still.
Oh wow, Dweebs, you're gonna need to listen to this. This was for James Gelfand. This was the last thing in his career.
Okay, movie. You don't need to
For
remind.
James,
Okay, movie.
sorry?
Anything, because the last thing in general that he did was this.
She has a hood on her head because
You mean
she's
the composer, you mean?
Yeah. Apparently, Bowie composed for such classics as Pinocchio 3000.
Oh, great.
For what?
Wait, which
Yeah,
Pinocchio
you don't know,
movie?
Dweebs.
You can come in, you know.
just let me ask you one thing.
The song is telling me to be sad.
Are you still my friend?
Yeah, I guess.
Well, what does that mean? You're my friend everywhere except in school?
Look, I don't know what you expect. None of this is my fault.
Yeah, well, Samantha's standing by.
You know, you were one of the few characters who actually was not a terrible person, but now here you are being a terrible person.
So,
It's like a disease spreading to each character.
So what if she called someone a bitch online? What's that? What do you have to do with that? That's like in the business.
That doesn't excuse. Like,
I have an important question
What?
in this movie. When is the killer coming up?
It's funny you mention that, Teo.
No, seriously, I'm just waiting for Freddy to come here, and I'm your boyfriend now.
Well, hey, at least the bomb, see something's
I
wrong.
wish Freddy Krueger, if this was a Nightmare, a stealth Nightmare on Elm Street sequels with Freddy giving a pun on cyberbullying.
Okay, well,
You shouldn't post online.
This is the one of the few good
Ellen
things
wrote
about.
best night ever.
This is the one good thing about the movie, that when upon the mom seeing that something is wrong, she takes immediate action.
Now.
Where are we? 32 minutes, jeez.
She makes me so sick. Want to see naked girls in locker, not Taylor slut. Gross.
Why didn't you shut this down when I asked you to? And why would you subject yourself to this? Shut it down, Taylor. You have no choice anymore.
Bravo.
why aren't you getting on the phone to the parents of the people you know are harassing your child?
Look, I'm a parent who wants to just yell at my kid.
No, this one's from Lindsay Love. She's my favorite. Yeah, she says that James told her I took all
You know, she's starting to sound a bit like her brother.
Again, lady, go ahead and delete everything, block everything, or delete the profile for her.
Hell,
Take action, woman.
Are there X icons next to all the statuses in that?
It seems like it, yes.
You're a liar, Lindsay Lohan.
Stop feeding into it, you moron.
Pedro.
The mother really should be on the phone to these parents. She has the names of the
What
kids.
does that, Pedro? This is James posting, so.
Oh, never mind.
That's James posting.
But who is?
Sorry, Taylor. I got my cartoon screwed around.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Another one of her friends is crappy now.
Lindsay. So there goes Shiroi. Turns out the redheaded best friend is the one who's James. She's the one who's trolling her.
It's Shyamalan who wrote this.
What a twist! Oh, you think that's what's so bad? Wait till you hear the motivation for it.
But Shyamalan already wrote a teen movie.
Sometimes the best.
And it was much better than this.
Wait. Hold on.
Does George Little count as a teen movie?
No, it's She's All That, the one with Rachel A. Cook.
Wait, woman, you don't want her to get into the habit of avoiding her problems. You do realize the irony involving that in a cyberbully situation, right? You know, between her and Peter Pan, she really is a bad parent. Although, to be fair, in Hook, I guess it was more so Peter maybe just misunderstanding her.
Yeah, we need the liar curse to take over. I'm a bad father.
Hey, Dad, it's me, Taylor. I know you probably didn't pick up because you think I'm so mad at you, but okay, take back what I say about never wanting to speak to you again.
Honestly,
We're not even halfway through.
Yeah, that's the thing though. These parts of the movie, in addition to not being dramatic,
I
are
just feel so
boring
alone
as
right now,
fuck.
and I don't know if you care.
No. Oh, Teo.
Even the pacing is glacial. Again, for one thing, Tall Girl at least managed to be faster.
It's actually, here's the thing. The reason none of the drama is actually effective is because the writing is so bad, it's impossible to take any of this seriously. Anyway, let's end this. There you go. The mom is now talking to the school principal.
Well, why wouldn't you treat a cyberbully like any other bully?
Oh, I can't control the internet or what students do on their own computers at home. And that's kind of.
Don't worry, dude. The American government is trying to do that for you, so you're fine.
Anonymous usernames, you can't tell who's who and who started what.
But the kids know who's who. They can tell you.
Well, maybe, but unless I can get the school board to give me some guidelines that allows me to compel them to do so.
You must have some kind of policy.
A vague one.
Oh, we have one in the works called SOPA.
Half the time I don't know where I stand legally. I keep asking the school board to give me some policies that has some teeth that I can use to bite down on these kids, but
Listen.
Of course, another bout.
There was one editor, Simon Webb, apparently worked for the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie, I guess.
Let's see.
I promised my mama wouldn't go on Clicksters on my computer.
There you go, see? Don't go on Clicksters anymore. There you go. Problem solved.
Sure.
Also, that's one thing that's actually pretty accurate that they got in this movie. The schools have the rules in place to protect themselves, not the children under their care.
Didn't you say you were...
Now they're saying I miss school because I'm pregnant and I'm some kind of prostitute. Nobody believes that stuff.
Maybe Cheyenne was right. I was asking for it.
And Cheyenne's stupid.
No, I told her that personal stuff to James. I didn't even know him.
Taylor, this is really hard.
Okay, you know, Scott reads that stuff. I mean, what if he believes it? What if he thinks I'm pregnant?
Wait, that's what you're worried about right now.
Just tell him Jesus, man, and you should be fine.
Dun, 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 dun,
Taylor, where has Scott been? Nowhere. You even said yourself, he's been ignoring you. Now all of a sudden you care what he thinks? He stopped yelling at me.
But I can't take it if you're against me. Too.
Maybe it would help if the movie showed him actually ignoring her, but the last we seen him, he just said that it doesn't matter what they say because, as far as we know, he doesn't believe it.
Okay, apparently I got the wrong Simon Webb page, because that was a voice actor and actor. The Simon Webb editor worked for stuff like Bad Blood, Mohawk Girls. Nothing that interesting, to be honest.
Play the acoustic guitar!
Yes, yes, the lack of drama can be made up for with sappy music.
Oh yeah, I love this. I love this bit. Do you want to skip school with me? No, fuck you. Bye.
Okay.
Look, you should just get Scott to give you a ride home too, because I'm done trying to be your friend. Have a nice life, Taylor.
Okay.
I love how she turns to the camera as if she doesn't know what to do.
Well, maybe she wants to try and get on with her studies.
Like, director, where's my line, please?
Emily's confused too. She doesn't know what to do.
So apparently, wanting to get on with your studies means you're a shitty friend.
Let's just say her friend is awfully possessive.
Okay.
Hey, Scott.
Hey.
Hi.
Hey, Scotty. Jesus, man.
Already did.
Listen, Taylor. My mom pissed me off last night and said I have to go with Marty Fox. Her mom's best friends with my mom, and yeah.
Seriously? Are we living in the fucking Middle Ages now, where the parents decide who their sons date?
Yeah, it would help to understand the actual age of these characters. Apparently, our girl protagonist is old enough to drive, but not enough to, you know, to go to parties and have a relationship, I guess. I don't know. It's weird. Oh my god,
Okay,
Igor,
I
you
swear.
gotta be kidding me.
I swear, half her scenes end with her running away or
And then with the oh.
Oh dear.
You guys have all seen it, right?
Okay, I guess. Oh, I get it. She becomes the serial killer and starts slaughtering all her classmates, right?
Maybe.
This should be more. Movies like this should be more.
What?
The director decided to get artsy.
Pedro, you're implying that it being PG-13 would stop it from having a serial killer. Oh, my friend, there is such a thing as the PG-13 horror flick.
Smileys,
Notice my directing! Notice my directing!
It's upside down, but what does this really is like devil?
That's what it means, that's what it means!
Pedro, are you absolutely sure Shyamalan wasn't involved in this project?
It really...
Her life has
Remember,
been turned upside
2011,
down.
this was the year of Devil, and that started upside down.
It really does feel like an M. Night Shyamalan flick, don't it?
Maybe
This
Ghost
movie
wrote
is-
it and nobody knows.
This movie is genuinely stressful to watch.
Oh, do tell.
At least it's provoking a reaction to you, Shiroi. I'm absolutely stoned, not in a good way.
It gets almost everything it tries to do wrong.
I'm sorry, Jova, but honestly, I do think this is worse than Tall Girl.
Yeah, I'm kind of. Also, was that guy doing sort of the John Lennon walk?
Hold on, Teo. I want to see.
You smell like a bit of a sewer. You ever take a shower?
How about $2 or 50 cents?
Okay, how obsessed do you have to be with this to actually go out of your way to make printouts and cutouts just to make fun of her?
And manage to create a video of good quality.
Also, not to mention there's plenty of witnesses around you in the background.
You know, you should really stop watching these things if you don't want whatever.
I mean,
Alright, Pedro, the piano is telling you that she's reacting violently to this.
Well, let's not forget, Shiroi. Tall Girl was the movie that tried to say that being tall was worse than every single other problem.
Well, that's the thing. It was like it was absurd, but that was it. This is just.
Not just that.
This is actually quite harmful.
Yeah, not just that. The tall girl in that movie was in situation out of her control. This girl is deliberately going through the slippery slope and having the fun of their lifetimes, basically.
Really does make you think she should have turned into a serial killer villain by the end.
Don't you see, Jova, it's these youngster people who are addicted to the internet and they're ruining themselves because they're evil.
Okay. If it's a psychological thing where she's addicted to social media and she can't stop, okay, then the mom should take action.
Yeah, the problem is that the mom takes action, but not in the right way.
Why are you still watching?
Just to suffer.
Maybe she really is addicted.
Is that why we're still here?
So, okay.
Yeah.
I'm the real
Hold on.
Taylor Hillridge. Ouch.
She's gonna post a suicide video. Alright, Shiroi and Teo, prepare yourselves, because you're about to see the best scene in the entire movie.
Is this like the actual prequel to Unfriended? And this is actually Laura Barnes?
It's funny.
You're about to get the best scene in the movie, Teo. She's gonna try to commit suicide. Now, take a wild guess, Shiroi. How is she gonna try to commit suicide?
This is a 2011 movie, so cutting her veins.
Shiroi?
Well, I was gonna say hanging, but.
Okay.
That's a bit.
Let's just say, everybody. Let's just say, guys. This is going to. It's gonna try to be dramatic, but it's gonna come across as unintentionally hilarious. Just check this out.
I mean, that's a huge failing on the part of what's supposed to be a drama as well.
Yeah. The last thing a drama needs to be is funny. Well, outside of... It can have comic relief, to be fair, I guess. So.
I used to think my life was a tragedy. Now I realized it's a comedy.
Yeah.
So what, does it end with her shooting...
Don't you remember this? What happens?
Yeah, I know, it's just... who would the equivalent of who he shoots at the end be?
Her supposed friend.
Yeah, starting to have regrets, you bitch.
Yeah, you're terrible.
Like, honest question, in what way did you think that you trying to break her down as James was going to have a good result? Oh, what, so she'd come crawling back to you?
Exactly. What is there any actual goal in all of this?
Oh,
so
don't...
What actually happened? Did she overdose, or like, I didn't
you'll
actually see what happened?
Just wait, you'll see.
She's gonna try to drown herself in pills, basically.
So yeah, overdose.
Oh,
you'll see.
Just see. Just watch. Behold.
Again, yeah, the mom's at least rushing back to try and sort it out.
Let's see.
Where's Taylor? How should I know? I'm grounded.
You are an oblivious child, you know that?
Maybe she was very quiet about it.
Wait for it. Wait for it.
Other than the stock music.
Oh no.
Sorry, guys, we can't afford any better.
It sounds. The music sounds like a rejected
on
song.
Any moment now.
Any minute now. She couldn't even get to open the container.
I can't get the cap off!
Oh man.
So there you go, Shiroi. She couldn't get the cap off.
There is a child lock on there.
I'm guessing you've seen...
I cannot tell. Okay. I think it's a this.
I'm guessing you've seen Adam's review of this movie too.
Yeah, but it was a long time ago, to be honest. I remember only a few bits and pieces of it.
So there you go, Shiroi. And now the brother suddenly feels bad about what he's done. So there you go. It was supposed to be like the big dramatic moment of the movie, and she can get the cap off. That's what.
What was with that quick zoom in at the end? Like this was some kind of documentary or something.
See, if this movie had at least some kind of balls,
this could be you.
Why is she in the hospital? She never took any of those pills.
Okay. I guess to be fair, since she has been now documented as suicidal, they would probably check her in.
Under observation.
Also, they probably want to do it.
They have to take you in at that point.
So there you go. What stopped her from committing suicide was the fact that she couldn't get the car.
The child lock.
You know, the thing that is supposed to keep away children of age of 3-5.
Yes.
Although it's funny, Heathers did the same thing.
Tina Booth actually wrote in the script, and then Taylor cannot commit suicide because, as she says, I can't get the cap off.
Again, this isn't the only movie to do that, actually.
Wait, really? There's another?
Heathers.
Heathers? What's Heathers?
Oh boy.
I'm not familiar with that movie.
Is that like a Channel 5 original?
No, it's an American movie that's honestly very topical. I'll have to possibly bring that one in. And there is also a stage adaptation as well.
Is it a good movie?
I'm seeing
no.
Is it a 1988 dark comedy?
Yes, it is.
With Winona Ryder?
Oh.
Yes.
And Christian Slater, huh?
Oh, well, there's a difference. That's supposed to be a dark comedy. Okay, so we effectively have our villain, this girl, and I'm realizing there's a lot of similarities
between... Wait, this movie has an actual villain?
Yes, her best friend, the one who started this all.
Alright, tell us how legit this doctor comes across.
Oh, boy.
I'm curious. Go ahead.
This is an appointment card for her next one-on-one session with me. And this is a teen support group I run. Meets twice a week. We talk about assertiveness, bullying, other things. I think it might help her. And finally, prescription for a mild tranquilizer.
Of course, the American way. Your kid is about to commit suicide by pills. Just shove different pills inside his or her mouth. That will teach him.
Yeah. Also, how said D was still going at this point. So if I wanted something good that involved doctors, I'd rather watch that.
It's weird because shielding aside, the idea of promoting the support group was actually spot on. But then immediately it was like, oh yeah, have these pills to pop into because why not?
I guess to his credit, he offered it more as a suggestion in that prescription. Like, it's not like they'll force her to take them.
Sorry. When a doctor gives, I don't know if the healthcare system in America is like this, but if here a doctor gives an actual prescription, it is basically kind of like a voucher. As long as you have enough money, you can present yourself in a pharmacy and actually ask that medicine. Also, what game is this? Hold on. Come on, show me more.
Wait.
That's how it works here in Britain too.
Eric, I'm serious.
At least England, at least. Wales might have a different word.
Generic PC game, that doesn't matter.
I mean, I actually played it. I was actually curious, but whatever. Basically, Jova, the idea is that, just like with everything, prescribing a medicine isn't something that a doctor should do lightly. And this doctor just basically gave this woman, which is already not in good capable condition of knowing what is best for her daughter, the prescription from powerful, psychopharmacies.
Oh, well, too, that's...
the video.
Hang on, it looks like the brother had freaking whiskey in that
Of course, people find it hilarious.
Shut up, not my fault. She freaks me out. And Scott commented saying she freaks me out. So Scott is now abandoned her too.
Of course.
As I was saying earlier, that drink the brother had in that glass, it looked like
I'm
he was
really
having
sorry
whiskey in
Taylor's
that.
having such a hard time. You know, the way they were all ganging up on her. It's pretty rough stuff.
It's gone. James's profile, it was here yesterday, and now it's deleted. Ugh, I should have printed it out when I had the chance.
It's a mystery now.
Does Taylor hate me? Of course not, Diane.
I mean, you only abandon her for social status.
For trying to fit in with people you don't even like in the first place.
Well, his profile says that he goes to Ridgeway, and he doesn't. Do you have any idea who could have created this profile?
So now, basically, this is where the movie becomes sort of a mystery about finding out the real identity behind James. Here's the problem. We, the audience, already know who James is.
Yeah.
Kind of blew your wad there.
Oh, this one. Listen here.
Mr. Fortis? Lindsay's
I'm very passionate about this part, so let me comment on it.
Well, your daughter and my daughter, they go to school together, and I was just wondering if I could speak to you and your wife about some things that have been
Basically, she suspects that the bully character is James.
You'll have to deal with me.
I heard my name.
I'm Taylor's mother, and I was just wondering if...
So, of course, we, the audience, would suspect that it's the bitchy girl. Oh, wait, that's right. No, it can't be the mean girl because, you know, we know.
I know here.
Your daughter was bullying her.
You should know that you're speaking with an attorney before you slander my daughter.
It's not slander, it's fact. I have posts from Lindsay Love, your daughter, mocking Taylor.
If my daughter expressed her opinion about anything...
Demeaning, insulting opinions.
That's her right. At least according to the Constitution.
Excuse me?
You're a terrible father.
It's called freedom of speech.
Don't you see, Shiroi? He's a lawyer, and all lawyers are evil.
Let's look at that First Amendment bollocks out of here.
Excuse me to interrupt you, sir, but I have your order here. Is I understand correctly? It's an excise of MAGA hat. Is that correct?
See, the thing is, my big as someone who's a big advocate of freedom of speech, I hate that scene because it makes people like me look bad.
Okay. Here's the thing.
It's such a stereotype of people who like me, who defend people's right to express themselves regardless of what you may think. Don't get me wrong. Obviously, people are evil and they say terrible things, but that doesn't mean we should go around censoring everybody from saying anything just because someone.
I think it was Jimmy Carter that said it during when the Soviet Union erected the Berlin Wall. He said democracy isn't perfect, but at least we never had to put walls to keep our people in. Stuff like that.
If you want a perfect world where nobody ever gets offended at any time, that world doesn't exist. Sorry.
Okay. It's not so much trying to create a world where nobody gets offended, obviously. Here's the thing. There's a difference. There's freedom of speech, but there's freedom of consequence. Freedom of speech does not give you freedom of consequence. So by all means, you can speak your mind. Just don't expect to, not suffer consequences for it.
Other people are to verbally slap you back.
Like, for example, if you were an employee and you walked into and you decided, hey, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to use my freedom of speech and slander everybody in my workplace, including my boss. I guess the consequence there would be your ass is fired.
Pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
What's the aesthetic of music?
Tension.
This composer's last work is really all over the place.
Finally! I think that's a good idea. Oh, no, never mind. She's not taking the laptop away from her, it seems. She's just closed it. Woman, you are a bad mother. Sorry.
Honestly, this movie can be easily summed up with that clip from Really Filthy Frank. It's time to stop! It's time to stop, okay?
Okay, so now this woman is gonna try her best, Teo, to legitimize this movie by giving in a really well-acted performance.
Yeah.
No. This woman is going to try her hardest to make this scene work, and she does a good job. The problem is the script doesn't allow her. Just listen.
We can't pretend that this didn't happen. It happened, and you need help. And there is nothing wrong with asking for help. It's It's really hard to see you in this much pain. And I am scared that you're gonna try this again. You put so much into your life. Your life is so precious. Please.
Fine, okay, I'm going.
Lady, this movie is. You are so above this movie. You do. Like, seriously. This woman does not deserve to be in this movie. Like, this movie so. She's trying her hardest. There you go, see? She's the best actor in the movie. I actually buy her lines because she's genuinely delivering a good performance.
Where they were before these lines.
That's... Lady, you should. Lady, this movie is beneath you.
There you go. There's the support group.
Glad you could make it. Come sit up.
Have a seat.
The wrong program to drove at.
And look at that. The red-headed one is also here. Oh, and our token homosexual boy is here too.
Hey, you insulted me a couple of days ago.
This is what we call irony, I guess.
I wouldn't call him a token because that hasn't been what his character is.
Yeah,
I mean, honestly, so he's just been gay, but they have...
The guy from Catwoman, the Catwoman movie, that is a token.
Oh, well, not just token, he's stereotype, but yeah.
See, my problem, Shira, is that him being gay, that's the only character trait that the movie gives him. That's my problem.
Actually, no, that's actually what I'm arguing against.
Yeah.
He only mentioned his sexuality once, and that was just to say, you know, I know how you feel. It was never present throughout either of it. In fact, it was completely unnoticed until that scene.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to side with Shura on this one. I mean, it's not like he goes, I'm gay, I'm gay, I'm gay. It's more like, oh, he just happens to be gay, and he mentions about how he's been bullied for it too. Like, it's not so much that they make
examples of token gays. Look at Glee.
The problem I have with the mom in the third act of the movie is that she's trying to pass a law about.
Well, we haven't gotten to that point yet.
We haven't gotten to that yet.
But the worst is when people resend stuff you said to them. There was this guy I liked. I thought he liked me. He really didn't. But I told him personal stuff. And he sent it to a bunch of people. And now at school there's this bunch of guys and they act out the stuff I said right in front of me.
You know, why couldn't the movie have been about this guy? Like, his plight is a lot more believable than Taylor's.
And he's a better actor than Emily Osment as well.
Oh, okay, it's not so much Emily Osment is a bad actress. Like I said, give her in a movie that fits her strengths and she'll do it pretty good. The problem is, like, well, it feels like the script is working against her on this one. Like,
it's working against everybody.
Let's be quite honest. Do you think even one of the most greatest actresses of all time could have made the line, I can't get the cap off, somehow an endearing line?
I guess, yeah.
Maybe Nicolas Cage would have been funnier.
Well, that's the... Here's the problem, Tia. We're supposed to take this seriously.
Well, that's one option. Become the bully yourself. How many of you have ever decided to get even? Posted mean comments online about someone you felt was being mean to you?
And she doesn't raise her hand.
No one else?
Oh, of course.
Never called someone a name online or said they were stupid or ugly?
Oh, there we go.
So the truth comes out.
Called Lindsay Fortis a bitch.
What the hell was that?
Pinocchio?
Generic... Yeah, what the hell was that? The generic Burger King ripoff called Pinocchio. What the fuck?
Well, that's interesting thing, Teo. Here in my city, there's actually a coffee shop called Pinocchio.
Okay, that's like a local thing.
And they even have a drawing of the actual Disney Pinocchio.
So it's the classic one with the bootleg design, but if Disney actually knew should show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no. What I mean is, this seems to be like similar to how Inuyasha has the McDonald's ripoff. This seems to be like the thing. I'm actually curious.
I want to know.
See, this movie is so glacial in its pacing and tone and structure, but I'm actually more curious about a prop.
It's probably true. So why don't you tell me, huh?
Oh my god, he admits it!
What's it like to be so
You know, that's the thing about him. The only time we see him supposedly being a dick is when he's off screen, but every time he's on screen, he's like, yeah, he seems to be a guy who sees the wrong in this stuff.
Yeah, I got your message.
Oops.
I saved the one where you said you started to call like 50 times on my birthday.
I should have just called. You know I care about you a lot.
Yeah.
Convenient how we only have her father being voiced as opposed to showing up on screen.
The actor couldn't be bothered to leave his house.
We showed it like what one scene.
Okay, that actor is the that's like the best. That's like the most that's in terms of acting. That's like the biggest form of home employed I've ever seen.
Also, it's like my daughter attempted suicide. Should I go over there?
No.
Nah.
The mom can handle it, Shiroi. Oh wait, she can't.
No. Don't you see? She's a working hard girl who has her own mission from God.
It made me so sleepy, I kind of want to wake up.
Well, she is at least concerned. I mean, she hasn't been very helpful.
She's trying.
Oh, yeah.
She's not very good at it.
Oh, Peter, what are you saying? Considering what she's going to do later in this movie, she's apparently a flipping amazing mother.
I know, it's just that...
We'll get to that later.
That's not the correct solution.
And here I thought you adored me.
Well, that too.
You're in a funny mood.
I don't know, I just felt so alone. You know?
That's this movie in a nutshell. You're in a funny
People started
mood.
saying stuff about me. I felt like such a freak. Like I was the only one. Like there had to be something wrong with me for them to do that.
You know, Teo, question.
Yeah.
I found out.
The fact that people posting mean comments on social media immediately made her freak out and go on a down spiral. This means that she already has psychological problems even before this all started. Like, seriously, how frail is her?
I should have talked to you. I don't know why I didn't. I'm sorry.
I mean, there's even more behind the cyberbullying. She's genuinely very troubled.
I think the issue is like, well, okay, I have heard of these sort of issues with cyberbullying before. The problem is that this movie goes into very, and I do mean very broad strokes in actually analyzing the problems with cyberbullying. And that's a problem. You can't handle stuff like this in just broad strokes because then you miss important bits of the context, which then lead to a lot of people not having the right idea of how to deal with this in real life.
Yeah, if you wanted to explore this topic, this should have been explored in a longer, more serious, dramatic, in a longer, more professionally made film, where where the pacing is much better and we actually see the downward spiral in a believable manner. But shit hits the fan way too fast.
Oh boy!
Instead, we got 13 Reasons Why, which is hot garbage.
Damn it!
Oh, shots fired! I take.
What we're missing is the token.
Hold on, guys.
I'm sorry.
Hold on. The friend is finally gonna confess that she's James.
Because you're gonna hate me after I tell you this.
Let's hear that motivation.
I love Emily Osmond's face right now. It's her confused frowny face.
Pretended to be him. I talked to you.
Dun dun dun.
Told everybody.
OMG.
Apparently, it was revenge because of that comment she made in the car.
Seriously?
That's pretty pathetic.
You wouldn't do that. I really wish I had.
It took a nearly killing yourself for you to actually learn anything. You would have kept doing it otherwise.
That's beautiful. And by beautiful, I mean shit.
Okay,
And she's really sorry, Shiroi.
Don't you
Got
see?
so much joy out of doing it. I don't believe this.
Okay, I get the dramatic situation, but I swear half of Emily Osmond's scenes end with her either running away or walking away dramatically from something.
So
it's acting Dwebs. Like there's this show called Suits that also operates on the exact same manner. Literally every scene is structured the exact same way.
So essentially,
what's that quote from Deadpool 2? Or maybe that's just bad writing.
Yeah, Pedro. Which Suits, the American show or the South Korean show?
The American one.
So basically, guys, it turns out that her friend was James and her motivation. Well, one, it was sort of revenge for the comments she made, but also in a way to sort of make it so that, you know, if I can't have you, nobody can.
What's going on? Did something really bad, Mom?
I think I'm a yandere in the making.
I was gonna say, please don't tell me she's like the gay best friend.
I mean, the movie doesn't say it, but holy cow, the way she's constantly commenting about the boy who she has a crush on, saying this or that, you have to wonder if they were setting out for that.
Joyful.
Psycho lesbians, joy. That's a TV trope, by the way.
And a fanfic on Share My Story.
No, that's what I thought you were referencing.
In fact, you know what this sounds like?
It's always darkest.
This feels like Share My Story, the movie.
It's always darkest before the dawn, honey. As you would remember from your Hannah Montana days. Oh, wait.
So, why are you crying? You caused all this.
Also, but hey, now
she's really sorry.
Don't you see, Shiroi? She had a heel realization.
Yeah, and now she's the one being cyberbullied.
Oh, this seems like a good time to talk about how to handle it. When you run into unpleasant comments about you online.
You mean besides getting even and going all bully on them?
Which only adds fuel to the fire and makes everything worse.
Thank you.
So, guys, we have less.
What else should you do?
So, guys, we have less than 20 minutes left in this movie. How do we resolve it?
Right.
Oh, wait, we actually do
You
resolve
got nothing
it,
better to do? It lives. Taste your own poison, bitch. Sammy, you're scary messed up, same as Taylor.
I don't know what to do when I read that stuff. I just fall apart.
It's fine to fall apart for a little while. It's fine to
check who
acknowledge
please
that
the
it hurts.
doctor.
Hold on.
But there are things that you can do, things that you should do.
Let's see.
Print out everything.
Oh, it doesn't look like Matt Smith.
Something negative about you, print it out. Save the evidence. What else?
Block them.
Thank you!
Someone said it! Yes! We can...
the truth will set you free!
And she never thought of that, apparently.
What a novel concept.
Yeah, that's the thing, though. She never thought of that.
Yes.
Never mind the fact that there's huge X's next to the comments, and I'm pretty sure a block button's there somewhere.
Man, tell someone.
Exactly.
Tell who? Your mom? I mean, my mom kind of knew, although I did kind of hide it
Dr.
from
Start with your parents, but don't stop.
Marcel Janine.
Teo, what was that, Doctor?
Oh, he was in 300.
Oh, wow.
This is
Cyberbully.
Also, he did some voice acting for Deus Ex and some Ubisoft games like Watch Dogs 2 and For Honor.
Huh.
Also, Teo, what did you say, Doctor Who?
Don't know unless you try.
No, I'm serious. What's his last name again?
Dr. Rilke. Rilke.
Yeah, sorry. I thought you said something else.
Alright, now you can say it, Flips.
Yeah,
But,
okay.
after we see a bit of it, let Shiroi and Teo listen a bit before you go on your rant.
After that, Missouri passed a law. I mean, do we have to wait for somebody to die first? Couldn't you introduce a bill?
I don't want to try to legislate the internet. I don't go online myself if I can help it. My staff does that for me.
But these kids are on the internet all the time, and they're vulnerable to these bullies who are hiding behind anonymous usernames.
Yes, well, no one's making them go online now, are they?
Thank you.
Excuse me? Well, they do have delete buttons on computers.
But they shouldn't have to do that, though.
You can't keep these kids off the internet. It's their world. And if you can't understand that, maybe
It's kind of the equivalent of doing nothing.
True that.
Wait, the guy was in
Why
Arthur as
do
well?
the problem when you can just
Apparently.
ignore it?
Arthur, the kids' TV show. I mean, there's
Yeah,
other
yeah,
Arthurs. But anyway,
should we blame the government or blame society, or should we blame the messages on TV?
basically the Bob's brilliant idea is to try and legislate the internet, even though to try and make to try and make cyberbullying a crime punishable by law.
She's
even
going
though,
for Kyle's mom.
Is it already though?
That's the thing, that the way she's doing it is not only illegal, but it also violates the U.S. Constitution. So if they try to, that law wouldn't get very far without being stricken down under constitutional reasons.
But aren't there already cyberbullying laws though?
Not to the extent that she's trying to pull.
I guess, yeah. I don't
but
really.
Again, she's
I'm
going through
very
the Kyle. She's going through the Sheila Broflovsky's route. She's hyperbullying. But actually, no question, Jova, since you know better about the legislation system. I know that in courts, lawyers and prosecutors in America tend to build their cases upon precedents. Real cases that happened that had a case that fit what their case is, going for. What does constitute in creating a precedent? Imagine like a first case of cyberbullying that would have established a law against it.
Well, that of course goes with legislating. Oh wait, hold on. This scene.
Happen all the time, and I never say anything. And then I saw it happen to you, and it made me feel sick. But I still didn't say anything, and I really wanted to. I don't know. I'm really sorry.
Except for that one hurtful comment you apparently wrote, but we can't seem to be able to decide if that was really you or not. So we're just gonna go with the fact that you're apparently a good boy.
Regardless of that, Jova. So basically what you're telling me, dude, is that you're a completely ineffectual dipshit who won't stand up for anyone you care about. Good job. Go ahead.
Maybe he'll get better. Anyway, to answer your question, Teo, in the terms of making a new president or whatnot, that would probably be, more like an amendment to the Constitution of sorts, or an amendment to one of the already attached laws of that. So it has to go for the process not speaking clearly. It has to go for the process of legislation, which is itself an amends process, has to go to Congress and whatnot, has to be voted on and agreed on, and let's just say there's a lot of red tape.
Yeah. I usually suck at understanding politics unless Matsuno is explaining them to me. So.
Kids are getting
Anyway, according to TV tropes, the legislation that they pass at the end and the legislation they say they will try to pass after the movie's over, besides being impractical, is actually infringing on many other privacy laws that already exist, including the Constitution itself. So the law will eventually be overturned by a court. So basically, this movie, in addition to trying to convey a message poorly, is also kind of pointless.
Oh, wait till you hear the law the mother has in handy. And let's just say, the fact that this movie came out in 2011 when we had stuff like soap on our rear ends did not help. It did not help.
I think she'd want to talk about it.
Let's see.
Here's her mother's number. Her name is Karen Kelder.
Okay, bye.
Samantha may be leaving for school.
Why did you get up and...
Why did you do that? I'm sorry.
I don't think she likes that idea.
She's gonna think I'm after her, and I'm not.
Honey, it's not a bad idea for Samantha to face the
consequences.
Like
this.
I'm actually the mom on this one.
Yeah, same.
Sorry, I couldn't hear what she said. What was that?
She said it's not a bad idea for Samantha to face the consequences of her acts. I agree.
Yeah.
You did the crime, gotta do the time.
Whatever the punishment is at the end of it.
Hey.
Samantha, you can sit by Taylor. We want you sitting together so we can take a few shots while we talk, okay?
All right, I think it's in this scene that she's gonna explain why she did it. I think.
Oh boy.
A pretty wild story that you, her best friend, tricked her into believing you were someone else online.
Yeah, here you go.
And then as that alternate person, you spread rumors about her in an online community. Is that true?
And the school community ate that up.
She didn't think you'd want to admit it.
Yeah, why are you doing this?
Oh, here you go.
I hate what I did, but I'm not gonna pretend I didn't do it. Well, why? You pretended just fine before.
Sounds like
Well,
you're pretty upset at her.
yes.
She has every right to still be mad. What I did was horrible. And I've never been more sorry in my entire life.
Okay.
Why do it then?
Okay, here you go.
I had reasons that made sense at the time.
What?
From a guy.
Hold on.
Yep, she thought she was protecting her. Yandere.
Angry.
She does scream yandere, and also it's the mother's job to protect the child.
Yeah, this is some really fucked up form of protection.
Shiroi, wouldn't it be nice if your best friend protected you from anyone you had a crush on by slandering you on the internet, making your life a hell?
Okay. Teo and Shiroi.
Yes.
So who's the worst yandere? This girl or the mom from that hentai I showed you guys? That clip.
Oh god.
Which hentai?
I'll show the clip after this. Trust me, it's hilarious. Don't worry, it's a non-pornographic one. There's no pornography.
No. Well, yeah, I get that. I'm just wondering
It's
the
one
name.
example, Jova, of bad English dub of hentai.
It's on YouTube itself, so it's fine.
Yeah, no duh. What's the name of it though?
I'll talk. We'll
I
get.
know, because everyone's turned on me now. And Taylor, I am so sorry
What?
that I ever made
Karma,
you feel
bitch.
anything. Lindsay and them, they're after you now. I didn't know that.
It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Lindsay Lohan is after her.
I deserve it.
I know Lindsay Lohan went crazy, but not that
Also,
crazy.
why are they making so much photos of this?
Because apparently they're gonna make a report about this too.
Why don't we just make a video?
Because it's a statement being made against cyberbullying, and so they can spread the message even more, because more people read the papers than the internet.
But wouldn't a video be more effective than just photos?
Trips. We're living in a reality where more people read the paper than the internet. Granted, I guess
So
the...
it's this attorney universe.
Well, Joe, the newspapers still sell alright here in Britain, so...
Exactly. I guess, to be fair, it was 2011, so...
Let's see.
Thanks for doing this.
We're cool.
Story unless you did it too.
Friendship.
You know, if it's happening to you,
Okay, to be fair, no. To be fair, no. They're not cool
It's
yet.
actually
if I
really
remember
been
correctly.
helping me. Thanks. I'll think about it.
That's a surprisingly casual conversation to a woman who made your life a living hell.
I can speak for everybody else, but if someone did this to me, I would never speak to that person ever again.
Yeah,
In fact, I would put a
same.
restraining order on that person.
You'd have legal grounds to, most likely.
Again!
Yeah, I mean, they're the person who drove you to suicide.
And let's not forget, she supposedly did that to protect her!
Yeah, I'm not gonna go into that rabbit hole. Moving on.
I swear, even you know gas I would be facepalming at that.
That's what I'm gonna do.
When did you get all grown up?
She didn't, actually.
Better go.
Also, I gotta
But it's okay,
say,
but it's okay, guys, because believe it or not, this is actually the end of the movie where she's gonna face the bullies and.
I gotta say, from afar, her earrings look
Oh, thank
like
God, it's
the.
almost over.
I gotta say, from afar, her earrings look like the second WCW.
What the hell is that on the?
Anyway, I was just gonna say her earrings look like the second late '90s WCW logo.
Hands together.
Uh-oh, the
If you
piano.
wanna clap.
The piano is playing. She's also afraid of going in there.
It makes me wish I still had my keyboard.
I didn't know you'd be
Hold
coming
on.
back today. Yeah, I didn't either. Maybe we can.
You're too generous.
You really want to? I don't know if we can ever be friends in the same way, but I'm willing to try.
That's
There you go.
still pretty generous.
Emily Osment is a saint, apparently. Like her, goddammit.
So it's kind of like at the end of, you know, Tall Girl, a bit at least.
Let's not forget, Teo. Tall Girl had her giving a whole speech to the entire class, and then immediately they all liked her then. Except for the bad guy.
We're gonna do something similar, though. We're going to have everybody in the school stand up against the bullies.
Just ignore her.
Check this
Of
out.
course, it's like PSA.
No.
Yeah.
Well, to be honest, this movie is supposed to be PSA.
Oh, here you go.
Hey, Lindsay.
Oh.
Hey, I know you think you're probably being funny, but you should know your words actually hurt. And I think you should stop attacking people online.
Oh my god, she's standing up for herself?
No, she's right. You guys should stop. You're making everyone around you miserable.
Oh, the twins are sticking up for each other. How cute.
Yeah, because that's what friends do.
Why don't you just stop attacking people on Clicksters? Okay, you're making it so no one wants to.
Hold on, Teo.
Hi, I'm back to redeem myself.
I am Spartacus.
No, I'm Spartacus.
Guys, and then everyone clapped.
No, guys. First, we need the obligatory scene where everybody stands up on their desks.
Celebration was had. Yay.
Get out of my face, losers.
Can we watch?
You have not heard the last of me, Lindsay.
I was promised a slasher killer. Where is it?
In the sequel.
Can we get back to trying to get the cap off again?
Teo, just because the L's in the title Cyberbully are backslashes doesn't mean there are gonna be slashes.
Well, you finally stood up.
Okay, time for a survey. Who here can take the cap off?
Things got so intense.
Me.
Literally anyone.
Anyone over the age of 7.
You don't even. It's not even a thing. Oh, you have to be super strong, like with a jar of pickles. No. It's literally a matter of coordination with your hands.
You literally just press down and twist. Like, I don't...
Oh, but look at this, guys. She gets the boy in the end, too.
Wait, seriously?
Yep.
Hang on, sorry. For people who would be shitty friends to her, she forgives them quite easily. The one who went off because she'd rather have the approval of people she doesn't even like, plus the one that nearly drove her to suicide.
Yeah. Oh, okay. But in the
Okay, not nearly. She did drive her to suicide, it's just she didn't actually.
Look at this! Now everyone's using their phones responsibly.
And even the doctor gets.
Oh, really?
Oh, yes. And he said you misunderstood him.
Seriously?
Working on a proposal to make a new law that'll make it illegal to harass minors online in this state.
Good luck getting that through Congress.
Here's the problem! Okay, that law can easily be abused, especially if somebody considers, this or that cyberbullying. So congratulations! Yeah. And let me remind you, this was made the same year. Well, okay, SOPA wasn't created that year, but SOPA was a big scare at that time.
Yeah.
And that I mean, considering all the problems that law could have,
we're all friends again.
No truth. Mean girl ran.
I doubt
it's safe now. There you go. It's safe to go online now.
Yes, guys, we're free.
Anyway, like I was saying, that law has so many potential problems that will get past Congress.
She schooled Lindsay.
And events like this,
Yes, Shiroi.
Can I get off the video now?
Yes, you can.
Thanks to the help of people like Tina Mir and
what a waste of my time.
Okay, you were saying, Shiroi?
Because a lot of laws vary from state to state. Because they said this law was specifically, like, it wasn't even across the board. It was just directed at minors only. is the age of when one is considered an adult different throughout the US, or is it all the same?
It's all the same, pretty much.
Oh, okay. It's still shit.
From what I've read, the age of consent varies, not just from country to country, but also from state to state.
Dwebs, the age of consent is different from the age one is considered to be a legal adult.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Difference.
Yeah.
Okay, so before we voice our final thoughts, let's ask what was Tina Booth's. Yes, everybody. Basically, the Moose Trailers YouTube channel, which is another channel that Moose Entertainment made, has a video about behind the scenes cyberbullying, where the writer of the movie, Tina Booth, talks about how she took inspiration from that, because remember, this was inspired by a real story. So yeah, let's see what she thought. Again, it's also available on YouTube.
We'll probably be posting this in our commentary.
Yeah, I'll include this anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, barely anyone cared about this video. It's like, what, 7 years ago at this time?
It
has less than 900 views.
And, and 10 in total between likes, and these like only 2 comments, and one of them actually does make a lot of sense. Mr. Yatolk, that says, the story of one of the biggest irresponsible idiotic parent and daughter. I don't know who you are, sir, but you have all my sympathy.
Also, the other one, does she internet? A kid's not aware of getting catfish and blocking people online.
Not to handle the fishing pole.
The story of Megan Meyer and Tina Meyer, her mother, was how I was my first step in researching this movie was to go visit Tina Meyer. And
Tina Meyer, yeah.
Her daughter went through, and Megan was just this gorgeous, sunny girl with so much promise, so full of life, and she came into this situation that happened, built up very quickly. Somebody tricked her on the internet with a fake profile and ended up torturing her and driving her to go hang herself in a closet. And
unfortunately, I could not actually go for the hanging itself. I decided to have pills with caps for some reason.
Yeah, and I've already made that joke.
And you get so caught up emotionally, and God, how you just want to steer that girl away from that choice that she felt so desperate in that moment to make, and that we wanted to put that emotion, that story in our story. So our story with Taylor and Chris really closely follows the steps of Megan Meyer's story.
I have my
doubts. Press X to doubt.
Yeah.
Whatever your button is on your control.
So in a way, this movie's a tribute to Megan and Tina Meyer and the struggles they went through. And
well, considering public reaction to this PSA, I'm sure Megan and Tina Meyer totally appreciate how you portrayed their plight onto the silver screen.
Mind you, other than us, like, I can't really remember. I'm not sure if anyone even remembers this movie.
She's just as responsible of a writer as David Cage.
Well, going off of the video that we viewed this on.
Honestly, do you mind if I...
Hold on. Hold on. Let me finish. According to the video that we watched this on, apparently at least 10,000 people have seen this movie via YouTube, with about 1,959 comments, but I digress.
I'm willing to bet, Jova, a lot of traffic comes from Adam's review, your movie stuff.org.
Would not surprise me.
Bump, in that kind of sense.
Would definitely not surprise me.
Okay, so that was Cyberbully. Shiroi, what do you think of Cyberbully?
I think Teo wanted to go first.
Oh, yeah? Okay, go ahead, Teo, then.
I'll be extremely quick anyway. This was boring. As a PSA, it completely goes above and beyond what the subject material should be, and not in a mature kind of way. It's so juvenile in its wake, and it's a shame because it seems to be understanding some basic elements on how dangerous the internet was around that time. You know, this was made, and you know, how some particular teens can react to the dangers, quote unquote, on the internet, and how the parents may be responsible. But again, it does it the Patch Adams way. It's so out of focus, and it derails the entire thing, all the while thinking that it's such a special, a special snowflake, because it's dealing with a subject matter like it's a, it's an angel coming down from the sky to give the good novel. Fuck that shit. So as a PSA, it's both boring and, and completely out of touch, despite the good ideas. As a movie in itself is, once again, another slasher movie without the killer, so of course it's gonna be boring. And this time even without the sex. We only have the characters just talking to each other about having a relationship. But we don't even get that. Hell, Tall Girl, a movie that is also, treating the subject instead of actual physical bullying with the subtlety of a spoon fork, the subtlety of a salad fork in an eye, is arguably very more enjoyable than this. Again, this was a TV movie and all, but seriously, guys, you could have just do anything to spice things. Hell, go full 90s and have the pretense of the whole cyberspace thing and represent the cyberbullying as like malicious entities that infect their accounts. Shits like that. Go creative. Don't do this shit. And even as a tribute to the poor person that actually died as a result of cyberbullying, even considering what we just witnessed about this extra thing about the writer, it feels that the writers didn't get the message or still wanted to tell her own story instead of had just the skeleton of this. So again, as a PSA doesn't work, as a movie doesn't work. There is nothing on this. There is absolutely nothing. Like once again, it gives me even more appreciation for a silent voice as it is a product about bullying. But whatever, I already ranted enough about that too. Next.
Shiroi, you sound like you had some things to say.
Twibs, go ahead.
Yeah, okay, I get the intent that this movie was going for you. It wanted to highlight the seriousness of cyberbullying and its consequences on both the person being bullied and the bullier. Unfortunately, not only was the execution, mind-numbingly dull, it's not even all that accurate. It's trying to get it so people would pass laws that are pretty unrealistic. Not to mention they were so full of problems in and of themselves that no government in the land would let them pass through into law. Couple that with some really bad writing.
I can't get the cap off.
And as Jover mentioned, some really hit or miss acting. And some of the most cliche teen angst music you'll ever hear in your life. And you get an all-round mess.
Like I said, it's the Lindsay Lohan handbook guide movie, pretty much.
Without Lindsay Lohan.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Good intentions, but horribly executed.
So yeah, Shiroi?
Well, what Dwibs just said pretty much sums up this whole movie. Except when you're dealing with a subject like this, yeah, as I said during the movie, it can actually be quite harmful as a result. Like, the lack of tact in this is quite shocking, actually. 'Cause, again, Tall Girl is not... This is so much worse than Tall Girl.
Really?
Oh, yes.
And again, by all
Tall Girl
accounts,
is
it
just the
shouldn't
absurdity factor. Yeah. This is just... This is... what is this?
It's an attempt to try and tell you about the dangers of cyberbullying, except the problem is that it's too pretentious to realize its own problems here and there. Never mind the fact that a yandere pretty much gets away with her actions.
And this is a weird one to talk about, because the director said, well, the writer, I guess. Like, are they the same person, the writer and the director, or just?
No.
Okay. Well,
No.
they say it's based off of a true story, and this makes this odd to talk about because, this would, I guess you would classify this as a docudrama. And the issue there is that I don't know how much of it actually happened the way it did and how much was actually made up for the sake of the movie aspect.
Well, we do know that Megan Myers was hung herself. Is it hang herself or hung herself?
Hung, right? I think it's
So, but Tina Booth said, "Fuck that noise. Let's have her try to drown herself on pills and have this unintentionally hilarious scene where she literally cannot get the cap off." Like, ugh.
That's like, honestly, I'm gonna say that's quite disrespectful. I'm not sure what the family of, you know, the poor girl who sadly did take her life. I'm not sure what the family made of this, but like personally, I do think that's very, very disrespectful.
Yeah.
This was made as a tribute to them, mind you.
Oh gosh, I would have hated to be at the viewing for that, but yeah, I mean, this happened, and like nobody handled it very well. I mean, the mother came around eventually. She had like a lot of the people in this movie had the mentality of, you know, if you remove the problem or ignore it, it goes away, which isn't how it works. And there's a difference between blocking individual people, that's not ignoring the situation, that's literally just outright stopping them from getting to you, and then there's actually taking away all social media access, which, given the world how it works, doesn't actually work at all.
Yeah.
It's a terrible thing. It's a terrible suggestion.
What do you guys think of, like I said, the mother's performance, the actress who plays the mom? Because, like I said,
I actually thought she was...
Like I said, yes. Later on, she improves, but I do believe still she did at the start, the first third at the very least of a movie, she doesn't give a shit. And I don't blame her.
True, but I will argue that scene in the car, that woman was trying.
I don't wonder if the
trying to give that scene. She was trying her ass off to make that scene.
I do wonder if the scene of the car was filmed first and everything after.
I will at the very least like to compliment her for at the very least trying her ass off to, you know, make something of that scene. Because that movie is beneath her. This movie is beneath her. Sorry, this movie is beneath her. Like, she's way too good for this. She's the only genuinely great actor in this movie, and she doesn't deserve to have her career associated with this pile of garbage. But anyway, yeah, continue.
Well, the only other thing I really have to say is the whole, like, most people wouldn't do this. So there is a small amount of people who would, and, you know, if that's what helps them, then fine. But it's like, I really cannot get my head around the idea of forgiving somebody who would, well, not forgiving outright, but trying to, you know, make a friendship work with somebody who do that to someone.
Yeah.
Like, that's no. Kindly fuck off. Like,
you see, Shiroi?
She wanted to protect her.
But don't you see, Shiroi? That's just how pure and forgiving Taylor is. She's such a sweet angel.
Again, you know, forgiving people who do this, like, does help some people for some reason, but I know most people wouldn't, and I'm one of those people, and I don't get it at all. It's just, you're too nice. You're just too nice, and
yeah.
This
like
is
Hino, who decided to give Keiji Inafune a second chance.
Slightly different scenario, but the sentiment is there.
Yeah, the sentiment. It's the same thing of being too nice for your own good, basically.
Yeah, this movie is actually I
Yeah.
Next, please, please.
All right, I'll go next. Yeah, this is garbage. However, it is one of those things where, to me, like the best way to watch this movie, from my perspective, is to turn off your brain and just pretend that this is an over-the-top dark comedy parody. That's because if you watch this in a completely detached manner and try to separate yourself from the terrible implications of this movie and the terrible way to handle its themes, that makes it a lot easier to make fun of, especially because, like I said, just because of that scene, I can get the cap off, which, like Adam put it out, it's just hilarious. That scene is just hilarious to me. I laughed so hard the first time I saw it. Just because it's such a complete, like, seriously, the fact that Tina wrote this, the director looked at that script, and nobody in the production crew thought that was some kind of joke from her, and that.
Or maybe they did, and she just pulled rank on them.
Tina, look, can you give us the real line, the real script page for the scene? Because this is clearly a joke you're playing on us, right? Oh, it's not? Okay then.
Just enjoy your paychecks and leave us off your resumes.
I guess, yeah. All right, fine. Oh man, I seriously hope I can have a career after this.
Again, that's the weird thing. The writer actually got a career after this. Granted, still for TV movies, but it was still a career.
Well, I guess if David Cage can still have a career, anything's possible at this point.
I suppose.
I mean, whatever. This is terrible. That's all. I mean, there's nothing much more to say. It's just terrible all around. The characters are one-dimensional. The story is terribly written. The cinematography and overall direction is terrible, and the music is generic and sappy. Jova, close us out.
So, well, one question, Bejo. In the end, what did you think? Was this better or worse than Tall Girl?
I still enjoyed this movie better than Call Girl, even though... Sorry.
Oh, God, Call Girl. Now, there's a PSA to make.
Tall Girl. I still enjoy this movie more than Tall Girl, but even I will agree. I will agree that this is more harmful, like Shiroi said. But this movie is, to me, a bit, like I said, if I watch this in a completely detached stoner type of way, like, for example, this is a great movie for me to watch when I'm drunk. Like, so if I get drunk, I can enjoy this. I can't enjoy Tall Girl even when I'm drunk. So there's that. Yeah. So that's it. It depends, Jova. If you're watching both of the movies sober, then yeah, Cyberbully is the worst movie. But if you're watching both of the movies drunk, then Cyberbully is the better movie. There you go. Go ahead.
All right, then. Yeah, I guess to me, when it comes to deciding which is the worst, I guess on the one hand, while Cyberbully is a movie that's actually about something that's more of a real problem, that's not to say that being teased about Tall wasn't a problem. But as we went over thoroughly, that movie handled it pretty stupidly. When it comes to this one, though, you could argue, though, that handling a problem like this bafflingly stupid, is arguably worse. Huh. Anyhow, times.
I have to be convinced that there's this big problem of tall people getting bullied just because they're tall. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's impossible, but I have yet to... okay, maybe I need to do some research, but I'm kind of doubtful that this is like a... I'm not saying that doesn't happen at all. Is this really like a common problem? I still am a bit doubtful that this is actually a common problem.
I guess you could argue common or not. It's nice that somebody tried to make a movie,
I guess,
shining light on it. But again, there's still the execution thing. Whereas with Cyberbully, they go into... Well, it's weird. They go into more detail, but not where it matters. Like I said, one of the major problems with this movie is that it handles stuff in very, very, very broad strokes, in a very, very pandering manner here and there. And by God, this movie shows some pretty good results, all things considered. Like, hey, you know, pretty much the antagonist, and no, I don't mean the bully girl, but you know, Taylor's supposed best friend, who is pretty much the cause of all this, she gets off pretty easily. I mean, sure, she supposedly gets exposed and all, but hey, Taylor seems to forgive her fine enough, and by the end of the movie, they're all sitting around a lunch table, laughing together. And of course, Taylor gets with the guy who the movie couldn't seem to decide if it wanted to make a jerk or if it just wanted to have just that one scene that hints that he might be a jerk, but no, not really. Like, geez, at least Tall Girl committed to, you know, the guy turning out to be a jerk in the end. And I love how her other friend pretty much exits the movie for most of it, only to come back at the end to redeem herself.
Of course.
And then there's that cockamania legislation law her mother wants to pass, which, again, the fact that this was released in 2011, around the time when SOPA was kind of a big deal, wow, talk about bad timing and not seeing the irony there.
Mm-hmm.
This movie, again, this movie is a classic example of missing the trees for the forest here, in the sense where, when you get down to it, it shouldn't have been about freedom of speech, but it should have been about the actual consequence, which, unfortunately, this movie does not handle that well. I mean, yeah, I guess it's nice to see the bad guy get defeated, because the movie then decides, oh yeah, turns out the bully girl was the bad guy that we want to see get defeated in some way, shape, or form. And it just devolves into Saturday morning cartoon stuff without even being as entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy, this movie is a sad project, and not in the sense where it's legit sad. No, more in the sense like it is sad that this is the best they could do on such subject material.
This is the kind of movie that needed to be written by an actual capable, experienced top-tier writer, not a random schmo like Tina Booth.
It definitely feels like this and Tall Girl were cut from the same cloth in terms of their quality and, you know, having good intentions, but having horrific results.
Full of good intentions. So,
yeah, pretty much. So, Cyberboy. It's a movie that honestly has aged worse with time. I actually view it worse than I did back in 2016, 4 years ago.
Oh well.
And I'm sure it'll only get worse from here.
So that was Cyberbully Generations. I hope you enjoyed it. We're official. Now that everybody in this group has seen the movie, we're officially done with this movie, which means that we'll never have to acknowledge this ever again.
If you know about any other cockamania PSA, well, glorified PSA movies or whatnot, yes, please let us know about them in the comments, and you can be sure we'll eventually give them a gander.
All right, see you then.
See ya.
See ya.
See ya.